as if you don't really know who you are, because you know what you're like. You won't do what you're told. You won't do what you tell yourself to do.
I think the most common problem that psychotherapists deal with, apart from anxiety and depression, is probably assertiveness training. So the first thing I would say is you really need to figure out what you want. And I would recommend doing the self-authoring program, the future authoring program in particular, because if you want to stand up for yourself.
When you're trying to become successful, you have to let those people know what you're doing and how you're going to do it. Because becoming successful is not easy. It's incredibly challenging, and you have to understand that you need to let people know what you're doing and how you're going to do it. So that way they can sit back, watch, and enjoy. Because when you show people what you're doing, they're not going to believe you. They're not going to understand that you're trying to go out there and accomplish your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. They don't understand what it's like to feel motivated and go out there and chase their dreams and chase their goals, because they just say they want to be successful. They don't actually go out there and make anything happen. So when you're on your journey, you have to make sure that you're letting those people know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what you're about to do to prove them wrong. Because so many people are going to claim that you can't be successful in that way. You're not going to be able to make it happen because they haven't been able to make it happen. But it's all in their mind, not in yours. So you have to understand that you are your biggest ally, and you're the only one who's going to make anything happen in your journey to success, because not anybody is going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it all for yourself, because people aren't out there to help you become successful. When you're trying to become successful, it's going to be all on you to make it happen. So many people get stuck waiting for somebody else to do it for them, when in actuality, nobody's going to come save them, because it's all on you. You have to make all of it happen, because you are the only person trying to become successful for you. You're not trying to become successful for others and them not for you.
Aerobic and aerobic exercise both seem to be very, very effective at staving off cognitive declines across the lifespan. So that's a really useful thing to know, because that's the only thing we know that does that. So then the next best predictor of lifetime success is conscientiousness. Well, and of the two aspects of conscientiousness, say orderliness and industriousness, the better predictor is industriousness. But then there are dimensions that you want to consider your life across. And so we ask people about, well, you know, if you could have your life the way you wanted it in 3 to 5 years, if you were taking care of yourself properly, you know, what would you want from your friendships? What would you want from your intimate relationship? How would you like to structure your family? What do you want for your career? Well, how are you going to use your time outside of your job? And how are you going to regulate your mental and physical health, and maybe also your drug and alcohol use, because that's a good place to auger down, you know, because alcoholism, for example, wipes out, you know, 5 to 10% of people. So you want to keep that under control. The jobs get simpler. They're more likely to be assigned by other people, or they're repetitive, because what IQ predicts to some degree is how rapidly you can learn something, but once you've learned it, it doesn't predict necessarily how well you do at it. So the more repetitive jobs people with lower IQs are more suited to more repetitive jobs. Under 87, is there something? Well, no, right. That's a big problem, and it's something our society has not addressed at all.
You have to have your goals and your vision well laid out and well defined, and then you have to have a strategy that is matched to those goals, so that you know what you want, so that you know when you're not getting it. Otherwise, you're left with a vague sense of dissatisfaction and resentment, and that's a very, very difficult thing to articulate. And if you can't articulate it, then you can't negotiate.
Well, that's kind of rough too, because there's a strong genetic component. But you can work on micro habits with regards to your conscientiousness. And I think the best micro habits, this is partly to do with this future authoring program processes, I think the best thing you can do with regards to your conscientiousness is to set up some aims for yourself, goals that you actually value. You develop a vision of what you would like your life to be, and that associates so the goal, once the goal is established, and then you break down the goal into micro processes that you can implement, the micro processes become rewarding in proportion in relation to their causal association with the goal.
If you're not merely feeling sorry for yourself, then you probably have something to say and something that you need. And you need to figure out what that is, and then you have to develop a strategy to put that forward. I've seen lots of people in my personal life and in my private practice not get what they want because, well, A, they don't specify it, and B, they don't ask for it.
If you want to see more videos like these, please consider subscribing for more.